It gives me great pleasure to welcome back to our show Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, member of Appropriations and Budget and Judiciary, and with uncommon common sense. Senator Kennedy, we missed you. Thank you for coming back on. What do you think? I mean, I love this Breitbart story. I invite you to read it if you haven't already. Here's, Europe is sending more LNG money to Russia, or just about the same amount as they're sending in Ukraine assistance. Now, what does that tell you? That has just got to be the dumbest thing and is most unfortunate. What do you think about that, sir?
Well, of course, energy is a large part of the American economy. And what I think is that under President Biden's administration, for the last 2 years, federal government behavior with respect to the economy and our energy policy is, as you described, Larry, almost perfect example of ineptitude. President Biden doesn't have an energy policy other than wind, solar, and wishful thinking. You and I both know you can't run any developed economy, and certainly not our economy, the greatest in all of human history, without fossil fuels. But yet, President Biden wants to get rid of fossil fuels. He said it in his campaign, including clean burning natural gas, which forces us, since we have to have fossil fuels, to instead of producing our own, we have to buy fossil fuels from foreign countries. And a lot of those foreign countries, like Venezuela, hate us. And so we're buying oil from Venezuela, so Venezuela will have more money to buy weapons to try to kill us. It just makes no sense. And in terms of the economy overall, it's even worse. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but there's an old saying, you've heard it, if you're going to have a party, you got to pay the band. Now, President Biden and my Democratic colleagues and a handful of Republicans in the Senate have had a party. They spent trillions of dollars outside of the budget that we don't have. Well, the American people are paying the band in the form of inflation. This inflation was made in Washington, and it's not going to get any better. I don't care how high the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, which we can talk about in a second, until Congress does its part. And by its part, I mean we have to slow the rate of spending and stop borrowing money that we can't pay back. As long as we do that, Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve is just going to have to cause more and more pain to the American people.
Well, it may be a tall order, but I just want to go back to this other point. I want to ask you if we can stop this lame duck spending. But Senator Kennedy,
Sure.
if we had kept the spigots open, that's my point, the price would have been vastly lower. The inflation rate would have been vastly lower. The recession would not have been inevitable. And Vladimir Putin wouldn't be in Ukraine. And if the Europeans had listened to us several years ago when we begged Angela Merkel to build LNG refineries so we could sell her all the we have the cleanest liquefied natural gas, as you undoubtedly know. If she had done that, Germany and Europe wouldn't be in the fix they're in now, where they're actually giving Russia as much money as they're giving the Ukraine. Russia for the LNG and Ukraine presumably for freedom. I mean, it's a crazy mess we're in that was so avoidable, Senator Kennedy. That's what I'm thinking.
All of that is accurate, Larry. You're absolutely correct. Look, America, through technology and reserves, can produce every drop of natural gas and oil that we need and have some left over, much left over, to sell to our friends, for example, in Germany. That's just a fact. If President Biden would allow us to do that, Germany could turn around and tell Vladimir Putin to kiss his rosy red elbow, I should say. It's just that simple. Instead, Germany got itself in a position of being dependent upon Russia for its energy. It just makes no sense. But it starts with this hatred by the people in the Biden administration of all things fossil fuel. And we can't do without fossil fuel, not today, not tomorrow. That doesn't mean I'm against wind or solar or hydrogen or nuclear power. I'm for all of those things. But I'm an all of the above energy type guy. I mean, the people running things now, it's like they just parachuted in from another planet. I recently called them, and I meant it, high IQ stupid people. They're very smart. They just got no sense.
Senator Kennedy, amen to that, sir. Senator Kennedy, can we stop this lame duck spending spree? There's some suggestions that we will. What you thinking about this? How's this going to work out, sir?
Well, based on what I know today, here's what my advice to my Republican colleagues. Learn the magical healing power of no. Turn to Chuck Schumer and say, we can get a better spending deal for the American people with a new Republican House of Representatives. So, Chuck, we're not taking your deal. The short answer, Chuck, is no. The long answer is hell no. We're going to wait 30 or 45 days until the Republicans take over in the House, and then we're going to put together a budget.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no cost, There's no downside, there's no nothing, except we might save the taxpayers a couple of bucks, and we might curb inflation, heaven forbid, just a little bit.
We'll do both. We'll do both. Now, President Biden's saying, we need the money immediately for Ukraine. I've been very supportive of the Ukraine aid. I don't consider it charity. I consider it self-preservation for America. But there are billions of dollars in Ukraine aid that haven't been spent. Waiting 30 or 45 days makes no difference. It's all a lie. We don't have an emergency.
Senator Kennedy, last one. I just want to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
We've been talking about Russia and so forth. I want to go to the other side of the world with China. I don't understand what we're waiting for, why the U.S. government has not already banned TikTok, which is owned by ByteDance, which is an instrumentality of the Chinese Communist Party in Beijing. And I note, as you probably have also, sir, a bunch of states, Larry Hogan just banned it in Maryland, Kristi Noem in South Dakota, Nebraska's banned TikTok, South Carolina's banned TikTok. All they're doing is spying and eavesdropping through this thing. Why haven't we taken action, Senator Kennedy?
I think you'll see a bill in the next Congress. Look, Larry, I love the people of China, and I know you do too. But I do not love the Chinese Communist Party. I do not trust the Chinese Communist Party. I wouldn't turn my back on them if they were 2 days dead, as I have said before. I believe, I can't prove it, I'm going to look to experts. I believe that they control TikTok, and they're using TikTok to gather information on the American people. Our Intelligence Committee in the Senate, composed of Republicans and Democrats, is studying the issue. They get intelligence that I don't have. They're the ones we select to get the super top secret information. If they turn to the United States Senate and say we have to ban TikTok, I predict that you'll have a bipartisan vote, Democrats and Republicans, to ban TikTok. And I know there'll be some young people that'll be sad, but we need to start an American TikTok.
They can, the young people can go to a new free speech Twitter. You know, Elon Musk's made Twitter hospitable, and it's a much better deal. And Twitter's not spying on anybody. Well,
thank you for covering the Twitter issue. It looks, as a friend of mine told me, Larry, it looks more and more to me like Mr. Musk, when he bought Twitter, he didn't buy a company. He purchased a snake pit. He might have purchased a crime scene. I mean, it's just all the things we suspected are turning out to be true.
Well, you know, just on that one, we're out of time, sir, but I love talking to you. Senator Blackburn last night said that the FBI has a lot of splaining to do about their actions with respect to TikTok and free speech.
Yeah.
And I want to know, with all of this influence peddling, how much money did Joe Biden make on this? And is he still making money from that? I give you the last word on it.
Well, the issue with respect to Mr. Hunter Biden is and always has been, what did Mr. Hunter Biden do for the money? He got millions of dollars. And who, if anyone, did he share it with? And that's what this inquiry is all about. And those are relevant questions that the American people are entitled to know the answer to.
Well, I hope you'll visit with us again soon, Senator
I will.
Kennedy.
Thanks, Mayor.
Appreciate it very much. All right,
Thank you,
folks, up next.